Welcome, Aries, to your Aries calendar year 2022 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, for those of you who are stopping by for the first time. Great to meet you. Hope to see you again. And of course, I'll mention that if anyone wants private readings, check out the information below. Now, we're going to draw 12 cards. We're going to go through this rather quickly because we have time constraints, or you do, don't you? So we shall see what they are, and we'll do each card. Now, I might use my pen to point out some of the salient imagery, at least such imagery as I find interesting, and you might also find it interesting, I think. I think it's going to be a good year for you, so we'll see what there is in store. Now, there we go. I'll read that line in just a second. It will be January through to June. And what do we have here? We have the Queen of Cups, the Five of Coins, Wheel of Fortune, Four of Coins, the World, Eight of Cups. Let's go and see what there is for the second half of the year. Now, in-depth monthly readings, of course, can be found on the playlist on my channel. Very easy to find. It's very easily set out. I usually just have the current month and the month before, and then when the next month moves forward, I take off the month which is no longer needed. So it's the current month and the month before. So depending on when you see this, I really do encourage you to have a look at your great in-depth monthly readings as well. That will go for about the same amount of time as this reading does. This will be an overview of what there is in store for you. And well, we'll take these two here. So we have Queen of Cups, Five of Coins, Wheel of Fortune, Four of Coins, the World, Eight of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the Star, the Two of Cups, Ten of Coins, Six of Swords, and Three of Wands. Why don't you come sit down here next to me? We'll have a good close look at these cards together while I do the reading for you. All right, let's do this, shall we? Let's have a look first at January. See what we can make of these cards, shall we? Let's have a look at this one first, which is the Queen of Cups for January. Well, let me have a look at this image and see what I can make of it. The Queen of Cups. Well, three vessels float on the sea. A galleon, a shell, and a small paper boat, which you might just be able to see down there. And that has the artists' names on it. Now, on the shell, in the same stands a woman in the same position as Botticelli's Venus, a nun. Now, she wears a gauzy pink veils around her body, and the blue veil around her head is crowned with hearts and a gold band. There's the blue veil and there's the hearts and gold band there. Now, on her left, she holds a large green cup composed of wings and the head of a cherub, and some of her long blonde hair has come loose and ruffles in the wind. Now, she's for me the Queen of the Thrones of Waters. And I'd say that what there is in store for you during this time, actually Cancer and Gemini are going to be important to you. She's the watery aspect of water. As above, so below. Emotions will be shown openly by you. Motherhood is going to be important, I think, and a great degree of emotional integrity. Now, what I do see is that you will be showing your feelings openly. And as you do so, you will become beautiful. Now, there may be people who don't understand you, so don't concern yourself about it. There are others with whom you can share your feelings and say to yourself, well, before I say that, you're going to be very conditioned by the environment around you, and as your mother said, you are judged by the company you keep. So move any negative people around you. Try to make the surroundings in your home and work life pleasant, beautiful, calming, and because you're going to reflect and be very susceptible to the influences of other people and events around you during this time. But say to yourself, my openness and my vitality makes me beautiful. And we come into the 5 of coins for February. There you are, 5 of coins. Now in this painting here, a youth mischievously kisses a lady's hand. I think theirs is an illicit relationship. Now in the center is a coin. You can see that there. That shows the chariot of Mars. The other coins represent disorder caused by violence and desire, corresponding to the 4 elements: fire and earth at the top, and air and water at the bottom. This is Mercury ruling the first decan of Taurus, the 20th to the 30th of April. Now, the speed and fluidity of Mercury can be weighed down by the slow, heavy, fixed earth sign of Taurus. So you may feel that there is some worry in your material affairs that you have, but let me see what's coming through. Nothing to be concerned about. Things are going to turn well, but you may from the time there have a lack of belief perhaps in yourself, feeling isolated. Maybe you feel down on your luck or losing your faith about something. There's some degree of pessimism around you at the moment, but it's not something which is going to be maintained during that period. It might only be for a day. I nevertheless think that this is something which has probably been going on for some time and you haven't dealt with it. Maybe you're thinking, am I getting myself into a situation I might not be able to get out of? Will events overwhelm me? Now remember, past and future, they're the things that you worry about, and neither can you do anything about. And if this was your last day on Earth, would you be using your time to worry? What this says is when you have drawn this card as you have done, you are ready to look at your situation as it is in February, and you now have the opportunity to free yourself by initiating the necessary discussion, either with partners or yourself. And remember, only clear and communication will facilitate progress. Say this to yourself: I am ready to look at my life as it is and trust in the process of resolving my fears. I am straightening out my life. That takes us into March. See, things are turning up very well for you, as I foreshadowed. This is a great spread for you. I might come and... Can I come and stay at your house during this year? I think... Can I stay with you? I think some of your good luck I'd like to have rub off on me. Well, the Wheel of Fortune is gold. And on it are the symbols of the zodiac. You can see those as they wrap around this wheel here. Now behind the wheel, blind Fortune stands. Her wings, hand, and head touch the wheel in 7 places. Do you see that? Where she's touching that wheel in 7 places? That symbolizes the classical planets, the Sun out to Saturn, and the ancient planets, the planets really that do all the work. Now her wings are red, and behind her a blue circle, which you can see, this blue circle coming around here. That blue circle there represents individual life. Now 2 boats with figureheads with twisting snakes support the wheel, and also blind Fortune's feet. Below are the green waters of life. The ruler of the wheel, fixed atop, as you can see here, holds a sphinx and a sword. On the right, a blue figure ascends. What's he doing here? He's chasing a golden crown by the looks of it here. And on the left, an older man is on fire while he hurtles downward, grasping for his golden crown, which will soon be enveloped by the waves, and below an old man flails around helplessly in the ocean. Now, this is the Lord of the forces of life. Jupiter, the great benefic, is here in the And it's talking about abundance, prosperity, and fortune for you. New beginning, expansion, creativity, a big breakthrough, self-realization, unexpected fortune, I think here. Good luck, a chance, opportunity coming your way. You might have a small lottery win. Now, there will be some up and downs. It's a question of fate, see here. It's karma. And it may well be that there is a life-changing meeting here for you. This is a definite yes, this card. If no miracles are happening for you, then there is definitely something wrong. You stand before the possibility of a great breakthrough, so use the moment. Are you really ready for the great fortune? What's still standing in the way? Write down or list to a trusted person what fortune means to you in your present situation. Then make a new list of everything which prevents you experiencing fortune right now. And say this to yourself during the time. I am a prosperous individual. I am flexible in times of change. I enjoy manifesting internal abundance externally. Abundance which creates me is what I am. I am now ready for the miracle of my life. Fantastic, fantastic time. Followed up by this Four of Cups. Let's have a look here. What could I make of this? Give you a good look at the artwork on it. Well, a mermaid. Can you see the mermaid here? Here she is. Well, what's she doing? She weeps on the back of an old sea serpent whose color suggests a grown cicada. A youth, and here is this youth here. He is holding a ribbon of gold, and he's riding joyfully behind her on a serpent the color of a newly emerged cicada. Now, the top left transparent, what do you call this thing? Is that an amphora? Oops, make sure that stays in line for you. Just bash my head on that, forgive me. It's not a professional operation, this, you understand. Now, on this green amphora here, well, it contains the legs of a woman frightened by a snake, a spider, and a mouse, symbols of the primitive and instinctive part of the psyche that is usually repressed. The others shown blind Eros, the god of erotic love with his blow, Silenius, the perpetually drunk son of Pan, and a dying man in the desert, crawling with his last strength towards a mirage. Now, this is for me the Lord of Blended Luxury. The Lord of Blended Luxury is what I see here. And what can I say? Well, there's a great degree. First of all, it's the moon in the third decan of Cancer, that 12th to the 22nd of July. Now, the moon rules Cancer in ordinary astrology, which is a great strength of this card. Now, I have to tell you that the underlying message of the card is that you want to be emotionally fulfilled in a deep way, don't you? In a way, a deep relationship. But it may be that probably you are going about it the wrong way. The moon is also associated with the principle of flux and change, and your emotional states may be shifting like the phases of the moon during this period, but it's a time of love, of tenderness, care, and emotional riches. Well, this is interesting. Let's have a look at the World card. This is great art. Don't you like the paintings on this? Don't you think they're interesting? I certainly do. I'm sure you do as well. Now, a young woman stands naked in the middle of a wreath. She holds two wands in her hands, if you look closely there. One black and one white. The wreath around her is composed of flowers and fruit and is twined with the alchemical snake, I would say, and at the corners are the symbols of the elements and of the planets. Stars are above, near, an angel, and an eagle. Clouds billow, fire below, near a lion and a bull. Now, medieval symbolism matches the lion with the element of fire, and the evangelist Saint Mark, the bull with earth, and Saint Luke, the angel of man with air, and Saint Matthew, and the eagle with water, and Saint John. Now, what's also interesting about this is that if you look at an Old Testament book, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 10, Ezekiel the prophet has a vision in which he sees something coming out of a whirlwind in the desert that has a body which is fused and a head with 4 faces. On the front it has the face of a man. On the left it has the face of a lion. On the right the face of a bull. And at the rear of the head is the face of an eagle. Now, these are Aquarius, the fixed sign of air; Scorpio, the exalted form of Scorpio, the fixed sign of water; Leo, the fixed sign of fire; and Taurus, the fixed sign of earth. She is really, for me, the great one of the night time, as I see her. This is about completion here, a cosmic union, travel, liberation from bondage, the burning off of some karma. There is the completion of a project that you've been working on here. Your efforts finally pay off. I think it may well be a long, hard haul to get there, but by this time of the year you'll be almost there, and it's a reminder to you to finish what you've started. I think you'll be learning to take control of your own destiny, and you'll be using the power of your will to get results. It will then be possible for you to see things as they really are. The stage is set for a new beginning or a favorable completion. The events in your life will become in harmony with that of the universe, and at that time you'll be asking yourself, what aspects of your life is it time to free yourself? Is there a journey or enterprise waiting for you to set in motion? Trust your perceptions. Make a list of all unfinished situations whose resolution would give you a sense of release. And say to yourself, I love to travel. I love to explore the unknown. I am excited about bringing ideas and creative projects into form. I deeply value making a contribution that makes the world a better place. I am one with the universe. And what a fantastic message that card is. What do we have here? The 8 of Cups. See what that has to say, shall we? Again, I'll bring it as close so that you get to see it. Yeah, I really love the paintings in this thing here. Now, what do we have? Well, we have a crusader. Remember, this is a sort of a Renaissance time thing, maybe coming over from the medieval period here. And this crusader in a blue cape embraces a woman in pink. Now, around them, as you can see, 8 cups show various themes of life. There is here a youth confessing to a priest, a puppet show. That was very popular during that period there that we're talking about here. Then there is here a procession going through the streets of a village in which young girls throw out flower petals. There is an eagle clutching a frog. There is a veiled figure here, rather mysterious, I think. Then what can we see here? Well, here is a woman being frightened by a giant spider, a rather penitent prisoner locked up inside a jail. And here there is a possessed person casting out a demon. Now, this is Saturn ruling the first decan of Pisces, 19th of February to the end of the month, be it either the 28th or the 29th of February, whatever, if it's a leap year or not. Now, Saturn, you've probably heard, is about structure, organization, discipline, a heavy energy and responsibility, whereas Pisces is intuitive, spiritual, fantasy, and emotional. So Saturn comes in and deadens the waters of Pisces completely. Saturn dominates and suffocates the joy of Pisces. And there's also, for me, with this 8 here, mystically there's an association with the planet of Mercury. So also we have present the flightiness of Mercury in the numerology. So the overall influence represents dark Saturn with no growth. The other thing is that I notice, now that I see that numerology, is that Mercury is in detriment in Pisces, and so sadly we have astrological conflict here as well. So there's a period here where you may think that there is some degree of stagnation or an obstruction, unclearness in your head about what's going on, maybe an emotional blockage. It might also be that, in some sense, I get the feeling that you could be denying yourself pleasure, almost as a martyr and as a lack of get up and go. But that's going to be supplanted in quick order by what comes through in the next month. I think that this could only be just for a moment, though. This is not something that's not a sentence that's there for your period here. You may find that you don't have an interest in friends or personal projects. I get this sort of feeling of, oh, I'm just sitting around being a martyr and being miserable. Well, maybe it's time you consider yourself, set some limits, and say no. It may be an older behavior pattern to always direct your love towards people from whom nothing comes in return. This may be a sign indicating your fears of accepting love. What people come to mind for you in this context? Are you ready to dare to set limits and stand by them? In what situations do you hide your true feelings? This is just something to be aware of. Forewarned is forearmed. Now, let's have a look to see what's coming through in the second half of the year. Here's July, right? That's June. June can be a strange month sometimes. What do we have? Is that in closer for you? Well, here we have a great card here, which is the Lord of Wealth. It is Mercury ruling the third decan of Virgo. Well, first of all, let's have a look at well, I notice there is quite an impressive building sprouting up from the ground there. Here in front of it is an oak tree with, I assume, members of the family who reside there. Now, it hasn't escaped my attention, and probably not yours, that this pattern here, it replicates the diagrammatic pattern of the Kabbalistic tree of life, with each of the individual sephira placed in there. So there's the 10 sephirot in total. I won't go into the Kabbalistic thing now, that's a subject of a different series of videos. But I will say this, that Mercury in Virgo, well, what happens is that Mercury rules in ordinary astrology and is also exalted in Virgo. So you'll have good communication skills from Mercury and good organization skills from Virgo. So there is success and abundance with this card. There's inner and outer richness, the ability to make the inner wealth visible and share it with others. I think that you'll find that you're feeling prosperous in a material sense during the period here. You have attracted to you everybody who is a part of your life, you realize. You have created every situation in your life, and you create your own reality. The wealth in your hands is your own to do with what you like. The responsibility is yours. You are endlessly wealthy. Do you know about your inner wealth? Do you share it generously? Say this to yourself at this time, but it's also good throughout the year in general. That is, I am internally and externally rich and free and enjoy everything thankfully and in surrender. Let's have a look at the Six of Swords. Well, here, wait a minute, let me move this up a bit for you. There you go. Some people love horses, don't they? I've always been a bit frightened of them for some reason. I don't understand why. Now, let's have a look. What is this painting telling me? Well, the Six of Swords. 6 swords form a mandala. That's like a Tibetan Buddhist concentration thing to aid in prayer, with an illuminated center. Do you see how that's all illuminated there? And that's indicating sudden enlightenment by divine grace, I think. Now, the hilts of the swords, by the hilts, I mean these things here, you see them, each of these things here. They are messages, and they're sealed with black ribbon and blazing with light. The rider, I would say, represents Saint Paul, and he falls from his horse on the road to Damascus when God makes his presence known to him. The horse rears up in fear, and Paul is blinded by the divine presence. Now, this is Mercury ruling the second decan of Aquarius. As I see it, the airy planet of Mercury finds itself in the fixed sign of air, which is Aquarius. Now, this is great because in ordinary astrology, Mercury happens to be exalted in Aquarius, and it highlights the intellectual qualities of this card. Aquarius is an air sign which is detached and intellectual by nature, and Mercury's ability to analyze and bring a clear perspective going forward aids you dramatically. The astrology suggests, I think, a somewhat detached but balanced assessment of a situation will be needed. This is the Lord of earned success, which implies success after something of a struggle. You need to analyze something without bias and without letting emotion get in the way. Aquarius is also the sign of innovation and originality, so this could also mean that you might be communicating ideas that are new or even unconventional in a very sensible, orderly way in which your audience can understand it. You'll have the ability to analyze, to unify ideas. An all-encompassing vision will be around you, an all-embracing understanding, objectivity, mental clarity. You'll be using your intellect and logic. Now, there could be a journey, which could be a mental journey, or it could be physical, or there could be a time of relocation for you. And there's definitely a period of calmness which is ahead for you there. Here we have. Now, wow. Let's have a look at this. Well, here is it's a quite straightforward thing. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3 climbers making their way up a tree. Someone from Italy, no doubt, someone from France, somewhere from probably that Balkan period there, each with their own pick. Look, this is a motif which is familiar to those who have delved into the mysticism of the Kabbalah. I won't go into it in detail any further than to say that what this is telling us about is forward motion and achievement. Now, why might that be? Because it's the sun in the second decan of Aries. Ta-da! And this is the Lord of established strength. And what this is telling me is that the sun is also exalted in your sign of Aries, so this placement is very favorable. And Aries enjoys a challenge, doesn't it? And Aries suns are happiest when their lives are moving forward. There's a great degree of virtue, integrity, and honesty here. Self-confidence, no compromises. Ideas are crystallizing, and confirmation that you are on the right path. Business expansion, probably. For some of you, I think, a hobby may become a business. It is a time now where you have clarity of mind and heart. It is a time to act, to start, to set off, to make things happen. And understand at this time and say to yourself, I have the power and virtue to reflect and to know. Let's have a look at this 10 of Swords. Hello, 10 of Swords. Wow, look at that. Well, the artwork is quite interesting. 10 swords are intricately intertwined. On their hilts, just looking at these things here, these faces, do you know what I think that represents? I think that they represent the betrayers of Julius Caesar, and they clutch their bloody daggers because they assassinated Caesar, didn't they? Outside on the steps of the Senate. What was it? Was it 44 BC? I think it was. Now, near the sword points, you see them here where the end of the blades, there are graveyard flowers, chrysanthemums, while in the center is the Lord of Flies. Here it is, him. The beast, the dark spirit. And he's laying his eggs on corpses. Now, well, another name for that Lord of Flies, of course, is Satan. And 3 women dressed in black wail and scratch at their cheeks. Do you know what they are? They are hired mourners. People used to pay people to come to funerals and stand around crying and wailing and bemoaning the fact that someone has died. Probably what I'll have to do. Now, ordinarily I'd say that this is a troublesome card, but because it's stuck between the star and this 3 of Wands, its impact is dramatically reduced. And what do I say? Because this 3 of Wands we'll talk to when we get into the star in a second. Well, first of all, this is the Sun ruling the 3rd decan of Gemini. Now here, the Sun in Gemini is difficult as Gemini disperses its energy and our forces. Now, if you go into my playlist, you'll see I've set up a list for astrology for beginners, and I talk about Gemini and the meaning of Gemini and how its energy just expands and goes everywhere without any direction. So what happens is that the focus can become entirely on the intellect, and it can be unstable also. So you could have some negative thoughts about something, but they're going to pass. They're unstable. You will be coming off. You might be regretting or having buyer's remorse about something that you've done here with this 3 of Wands. It's all going to be overcome by the Star card, incidentally. But with this card here, you might find that, I'll say that the energy of the 10, it's very unstable, this 10 of Swords, because what's happening is that the divine energy flows through all of the tarot cards in a linear fashion, and it ultimately becomes unstable in this suit, in this world, and it moves to the lower world again. So this is the suit of air, then it drops down to the suit of materiality, and it reappears in the ace of earth, be it discs or pentacles or however you might like to describe it. But don't be disheartened by that. Step back and have a look at the situation. Again, forewarned is forearmed. Have no fear. That's not a bad card in this situation, fortunately. Sometimes it can be. But for me, it's the elements and the position which are very important in interpreting what the cards mean for you. Now look at this beautiful woman here. This is the Star. Well, here a young woman kneels on the edge of a pond. Her long blonde hair flows around her naked body to meet the ground perfectly. Now, in her left hand, you see this thing here? She holds what's known as a Doric. It's a type of architecture from the old world. A Doric vase, indicating Doric rusticness and simplicity. And in her right hand, and this is a development from the Doric, there is here a vase which is what's that thing called? Attic. It's an Attic vase reflecting elegance and fine intelligence. Now above her are 2 stars, one with 8 points and the other with 5 points. and symbols of the 7 planets of the 7 classical planets. Now near her is a Rosicrucian rose, which is reflected in the water. A raven perches on the rose. Is that a little raven? There he is. Now, 2 hills are behind the woman, and an acacia bush on one of the hills is a symbol of grace and of love. This is for you, Saturn ruling Aquarius with Neptune exalted. Now, Aquarius is all about the individual and uniqueness, and yet it has an overall humanitarian outlook. Well, the star shares these qualities in that it is trying to remind you about the divinity and uniqueness within you, which is encouraging you to become a conduit for bringing down your highest potential. This is about inspiration, crystallization, self-recognition, radiating magnetism out of here. You're going to be very attractive to other people during this time. You'll have a clear vision, a trust in yourself, and a connection to what I would call universal intelligence. Hope, happiness, opportunities, optimism, cosmic blessings, and help coming to you in all forms. Your self-confidence and self-esteem are going to increase, and you are going to be enjoying life to the full. And finally, what do we get here in December? Let's have a look. This is the 2 of Cups. Well, what do we have here? We have 2 lovers gazing tenderly at one another. Towering behind them are 2 goblets. You can see those here. There's the 2 goblets. Now, the silver cup has a base and stem formed from entwined snakes. Now, on the cup, 2 lovers part. Oh, you can see them maybe you can see it inside here. There's 2 lovers parting, and there's a woman weeping as the man stalks away, holding his love letter in his hand. The golden cup contains amber liquid. Its stem and base is formed of a lion. And I think what we can say here is that in the cup is a nymph and what do you call those things? Satyr, dancing together rather promiscuously. Now, in Western symbolism, of course, you'll recall that gold symbolizes masculinity and silver symbolizes femininity. Now, the astrology of this card in this position is that of Venus in the first decan of Cancer, that 21st of June to the 1st of July. This exemplifies the benefit of you drawing this card, I think. Venus is the most maternal and receptive of planets and is about love, beauty and creativity, and Cancer is about nurturing, comfort and support. So there's a great degree of receptive love, happy relationships and emotional exchanges here. Close bonds, togetherness, great degree of love and harmony, and a relationship that is strengthening. I think that's also a time here of mutual love and respect going throughout this month, which will carry you into the following year. Well, great job. Well done, Aries. That's the way it is for you this year. Well, I thought that was fascinating, didn't you? It looks like you're going to have a fantastic year ahead of you, probably your best year ever, if I'm any judge of these things. Oh, I think you've got everything going for you, and so you should have too. Now remember, I want to see you in the monthly readings, so don't miss out on those. They're far more in depth than what we've just done now. But until then, remember one thing, and remember it always, and it is that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, it's bye for now.